The familiar, unified, monolithic Spain might never have existed at all. Take a look at this map of the Iberian Peninsula. You won't find Madrid here as an undisputed political center. In the 19th century, this empire nearly collapsed into dozens of independent city-states, anticipating the structure of the modern European Union by more than 100 years. Welcome to the Iberian Cantonal Confederation. 15 wealthy, self-governing republics where anarcho-syndicates are legalized and monarchs remain only on the pages of dusty archives. Let's travel back to the scorching July of 1873. The newly proclaimed First Spanish Republic is bursting at the seams. Carlist mutinies in the north, economic collapse, an endless leapfrog of presidents. On July 12th, the Cantonal Rebellion erupts in the port city of Cartagena. Radical federalists seize the city hall and announce the creation of the independent canton of Murcia. Their political demand is straightforward: immediately shatter Spain into sovereign cantons following a strict Swiss model. All executive power must be transferred to local juntas. In our reality, Captain General Arsenio Martinez Campos and General Pavia drowned this mutiny in blood in just 6 months. Cartagena fell after a brutal artillery siege. But history is a capricious lady. What if the rebels get lucky? Imagine that the leader of the Murcian Cantonalists, the charismatic Antonio Galvez, changes his military tactics. Instead of sitting out behind the thick fortifications of Cartagena, Galvez leads his detachments and fleet in a swift partisan raid along the coast and mountains of Andalusia. August 10, 1873, marks the point of bifurcation. The Battle of Chinchilla. In our history, the rebels were defeated. Here, however, everything follows a different script. Galvez lures the government troops of General Salcedo into the narrow gorges near Albacete. A massive ambush, dynamite from local mines, and the central Madrid army is completely wiped out. This victory becomes a match thrown into a powder keg. News of the defeat of regular troops instantly flies by telegraph across the entire Iberian Peninsula. Within a single week in August, state independence is proclaimed by Seville, Cadiz, Granada, Alicante, and Valencia. Catalonia immediately raises its red and yellow flag. Panic ensues in Madrid. President Francisco P. Margal, the ideological father of Spanish federalism, flatly refuses to use the army against his own comrades and resigns. His successor, Nicolás Salmerón, attempts to pull loyal units to the capital, but the Basque provinces in the north blockade the railways, demanding their own historical fueros. By October 1873, the government in Madrid controls only the capital itself and the dusty wastelands of New Castile. A unified Spain ceases to exist de facto. In December, envoys from the rebellious cities gather in Córdoba. In the famous mosque cathedral, under ancient Moorish arches, the Pact of Córdoba is signed, the constitution of a new era. The Iberian Cantonal Confederation is born. 15 equal republics. No regular army, only militia forces. No king, only a council of cantonal delegates in Toledo. How does this change the course of European history? Drastically. Without metropolitan Madrid siphoning taxes to maintain bureaucracy, the coastal regions begin to rapidly amass wealth. The Catalan Republic invests all its freed-up capital into heavy and textile industries. Late 19th century Barcelona transforms into the main industrial hub of the Mediterranean. Andalusia, having thrown off the yoke of metropolitan landlords, implements a radical land reform. Massive latifundia are fragmented among peasant cooperatives. The agricultural sector experiences an unprecedented boom. The year 1898 arrives. In our reality, Spain shamefully loses the war to the United States, losing Cuba and Puerto Rico. This event will be dubbed the disaster. But the Confederation does not need an overseas empire. Back in 1885, the Canton of Havana peacefully obtained the status of an associated overseas republic through negotiations. The war with America simply does not happen. Washington directs its ironclads to other waters, while Havana remains a Spanish-speaking trade bridge between the New World and a free Iberia. The most profound transformations occur in the social structure. By 1910, the Confederation becomes a true mecca for left-wing thinkers and radicals from all over Europe. Anarcho-syndicalism here is not an underground revolutionary movement, but an official political force. The National Confederation of Labour legally manages factories in Valencia. In Barcelona, there is no conventional state police. The streets are patrolled by elected workers' squads. The city resembles a permanent Paris commune, but with a paradoxically functional capitalist economy. The year 1936 arrives. In our history, General Francisco Franco launches a fascist rebellion, drenching Spain in blood during a brutal civil war. Here, there is no civil war whatsoever, because there is no unified army. Major General Franco ignominiously spends his days in a quiet Madrid garrison, having never gained any influence. Without the victory of the Phalangists on the Pyrenees, Hitler and Mussolini lose a crucial strategic bridgehead in southern Europe. The geopolitical balance of the 1930s collapses. During the Second World War, the Iberian Confederation declares strict armed neutrality, relying on its complex, mountainous terrain and millions of well-trained militiamen. Lisbon, having joined the Confederation after the fall of the monarchy in Portugal, teams up with Cadiz to become the primary espionage and financial centers of Europe. Here, the paths of agents from the British MI6, the German Abwehr, and the Soviet NKVD cross daily. Secret deals that alter the fates of France are struck in the restaurants of Malaga. After the war, while the rest of Europe lies in ruins, the independent cantons thrive by supplying tungsten, food, and heavy machinery for the Marshall Plan. In the 1950s, it is Iberia that launches the first prototype of open borders. The local Schengen Area appears on the Pyrenees, 40 years earlier than in the rest of Europe. A citizen of the autonomous Basque Republic can sell steel in Seville without visas or tariffs, and a student from Murcia freely enrolls in the ancient University of Coimbra. But this unprecedented freedom comes with a price. The Iberian Confederation is the most politically unstable and unpredictable macro-region on the entire continent. The central coordinating government in Toledo operates on an annual budget that barely exceeds the financial capabilities of an average municipal borough in London. The political life of the Confederation is a chaos of permanent referendums. In industrial Catalonia, tax laws can change once a month under the pressure of trade unions. In Andalusia, entirely legal strikes by crop pickers occur annually, paralyzing exports for weeks until the Cantonal Council revises the agricultural tariffs. Galicia, conversely, has turned into a conservative enclave of farmers and fishermen. The positions of the Catholic Church remain strong here, frequently conflicting with the secular Southerners. Disputes over the distribution of freshwater between arid Murcia and Castile sometimes reach absurdity. Farmers block highways with tractors and impose local trade embargoes. However, this controlled, boiling chaos stays ahead of the curve. The fierce competition among sovereign cantons leads to incredible economic breakthroughs. Valencia, striving to outpace its neighbors, invests billions in biotechnology, turning its salt marshes into the planet's largest farms for industrial aquaculture. The Basque Republic has definitively become the center of European heavy robotics, maintaining a monopoly on supplying high-precision machine tools for the aerospace industries of France and Germany. And Madrid, forever stripped of its imperial status and royal subsidies, has reinvented itself as the European hub for artificial intelligence, powered by the energy of Castilian solar fields. Let's look at this alternative Iberia in our present day, the 21st century. Not a single monument to the Spanish kings of the Bourbon dynasty has been erected on the peninsula. Instead of grandiose monarchical palaces, glass buildings of cantonal assemblies rise here. Instead of military parades, massive, colorful marches of syndicalists. It is a unique society without a rigid vertical of power. It is incredibly complex, noisy, constantly debating, but absolutely immune to dictatorship or totalitarianism of any kind. The modern European Union, in this reality, is built with a constant eye on the century-old Iberian experience. Brussels adopts complex mechanisms of decentralization directly from Toledo. Local political scientists like to repeat one truth. No one can forcefully seize power in a country if the country itself, as a single vulnerable mechanism, simply does not exist. There is only a highly complex neural network of 15 independent nodes, each of which is ready to defend its local charters and freedoms with arms in hand. The Cantonal Revolution of 1873, which historians in our world dismissively dubbed a curiosity, has here become the unshakable foundation of an entirely new European civilization. Antonio Galvez and the forgotten heroes of Cartagena proved the main thing. To build a prosperous future, sometimes you must let the old empire shatter into 15 brilliant shards.